I have had a 7-star Elsa Bloodstone for a very long time, and it's a champion that I love to talk about but never made a proper showcase of, so while I've been working on a couple other proper showcases for champions recently, I did want to go back to Elsa and give her a full showcase, as I do absolutely love her kit, and I want to show off some really cool things that she can do. But first, we'll just quickly break down why I like Elsa and some things you need to know about her. She just has a really simple kit that flows really well for short fights and battlegrounds and stuff. I do recommend you run the crit rating stat focus. Her crit rating is already really high, but her kit revolves around crits, so it's really nice. Elsa, she has red numbers in like so many different varieties, being Incinerate, Cold Snap, just burst damage on critical hits, so many different ways to deal damage throughout the fight. And the relic I'm running for her is going to be the Winter Soldier one. It's a 5-star rank 3 or rank 4, I don't remember exactly which one, but I'm showing off the runes I run for her. They definitely help her quite a bit, and this is the relic that I definitely would suggest you run, as it does help her quite a bit. So we're gonna go into some fights in just a second, but we're gonna start against Winter Soldier. I'll show you a basic Elsa rotation for like a 550,000 HP. This is what I would call a medium length fight. We're gonna have different rotations for Battlegrounds and different rotations for longer fights, but for a fight that's about this length, without any nodes giving her extra damage, I would go with an SP1 first, and the SP1 gives you precision, and you want the precision because basically you do a bunch of burst damage when you crit, depending on those buster debuffs. You place buster debuffs on your 4th light attack and SP2, and they not only do burst damage when you crit, but they also increase the potency of your incinerates. Your incinerates are your other form of damage over time, and you inflict them on your 2nd medium and on your SP1, or if you are out of buster rounds on your SP2. So basically, I like to try to focus on one round first and then empty it. In that case, I usually go with the buster rounds first, empty those, and then start inflicting the Hellfire rounds, which will inflict Incinerate or Cold Snap if the opponent has either evaded or is immune to Incinerate. So it is a nice backup plan for those Incinerate immune defenders, or evaders actually too, because that is a really nice utility of Elsa's kit. They only need to evade once, and then you can just shut it off with the Cold Snap. I wouldn't use her against some evaders like Bullseye or something, but nodes with evading champs, or just evaders like Spider-Gwen, you just do it all the time, you just shut that off, so it's really nice. Here we are against a Rhino, and we're going to be throwing this SP2, and we remove all our buster rounds. We're going to inflict one more Hellfire round, and I'm showing you just the Rhino fight just to show what she does against class advantage with Science Champions. She does have a little bit of extra benefit against Science Champions in her SIG ability, but her SIG ability is entirely not something that is incredibly necessary. It's just nice to have for some Science matchups. Speaking of Science matchups, we're going to start against a Photon in Battlegrounds. This is a rank 3 Photon, but I have fought 7-star rank 2s that are duped before, in case you were wondering, like, since this is easier against a non-duped Photon, obviously. I have definitely destroyed quite a number of max SIG Photons with Elsa before. This is just the only rank 3 one I fought, and since it was unduped, I still wanted to show it because it's a rank 3. But anyway, we just got to the SP2, and like Photon's already almost dead, so it's pretty simple, because Elsa is just purifying those debuffs that Photon places on you in order to make more damage from them. So 49-second Photon fight, fast, basically just about as fast as Kate for Photon, so that's really cool. Maybe not as fast as Mantis, but then again, equal ranks probably is just as fast as Mantis. So next up, we're going to be fighting a Chavez, and this is the Counter-Strike meta, I should say. So this was a while ago. I haven't recorded a lot of Elsa content that's extremely fresh, but I do have a lot of older content that I'm compiling in this showcase for you guys. So yeah, we're fighting this Chavez, and Chavez, I feel like she's one of those defenders that the longer the fight goes on, the more risky it is, because she just has more opportunities to throw her stupid heavy attack and stuff. So I barely got time to talk about that fight because it ended in like 35 seconds. But next up we have a werewolf. I don't remember if it's a rank 1 or rank 2 werewolf, but either way, this is going to be a pretty fast fight. Werewolf is a weird defender. This was back when I was like just learning how to fight him. So I do play it a little weird at some points in this fight, I think. But I think I'm just going to go for a nuke here, and I throw the SP2, and he's almost dead. So we're going to go for the relic, and then he's just dead like that. So that was a werewolf in 36 seconds, which is pretty nice. Granted, he was unduped, but he only howled once in the fight, so it didn't really matter too much. Next up, we have Future Ant-Man, and this is one of those instances where Elsa's utility kit could be a little bit better, or just the way she handles Incinerate immunes better, or Incinerate resistant champs, I guess I should say. I don't know, because while she does switch to the Cold Snap if the opponent is immune to a debuff, if they just reduce the duration or the potency of it, you still have to deal with less damage. So you saw those Incinerates go away just like that. So we're changing my rotation a bit in this fight, where I want to empty my Hellfire, or not my Hellfire rounds, my Buster rounds with the special 1, because now I'm just ramping to my SP2 with the crit rate buff from the precision. So we throw the SP2, it does a lot of damage, and we have 7 rounds, so if we're landing any crits, they just do so much burst damage, and then that Fanta is down in just over a minute. So that was definitely a nice fight, considering we really couldn't incinerate him, and incinerates are some of the big part of her damage. So alright, next up we have a Killmonger. This is a rank 1 Killmonger, and not a matchup I would really suggest doing ever, but also it worked out pretty decently for me. So we're going to be going for the precision, just strictly because of Killmonger's crit resistance being so high that we really want to have access to it. So we have the precision, and we're going to be critting a lot more in basics, so the fight just goes down a bit faster. Elsa's second medium is non-contact, which will get around some of his reverb, and of course some of the bullet attacks on her special attacks are also non-contact, so that's more reverb that we are ignoring, which is pretty nice. So we're giving Killmonger a good bit of power from all the debuffs, but also he's going down relatively fast, even though we are punching a rank ahead. At equal ranks, he doesn't go down too much later than what we're taking him down from this one. So that's 62 seconds, equal ranks, probably like 75, 80. Not great, but not too bad, I guess. So now we're fighting a Quicksilver, rank 5 Quicksilver. And Elsa is one of my favorite Quicksilver counters, just because you saw he triggered the evade there, so now we can just inflict the Cold Snap, and he can't evade for the rest of the fight. And also the Whiplash, if you ever get Whiplash on yourself, you can just purify it after like 3 seconds automatically, so you don't really have to worry about that. This is from a meta where we were getting Power Stings on ourselves to, increase our damage because we're purifying them for precision, but also Quicksilver is giving us his own debuffs to purify, so it's not too big a difference. And I'm pretty sure that was the only fight in this video where I was in that meta, but this meta is the Counter-Strike one, once again, I think, against this Gore here. And Elsa is nothing, no, she doesn't really counter Gore, but she just kind of works because she's really good, and she also has a lot of debuffs for Despair too, so that was pretty nice. Another cool thing, this is actually not the Counter-Strike meta that I thought it was. This is a Stun Reflect meta, and Stun Reflect is removed when you inflict a Poison or Incinerate on the defender, and obviously Elsa, has a lot of Incinerate, so that's definitely very nice. This Gore, obviously, we don't ever want to get hit or take hits into a block, or else we're just going to kind of die, so I just spammed SP1 in this fight. I probably should have thrown an SP2. Definitely could have been faster if I did throw an SP2. I do think that was a mistake on my part, but either way, we are going to inflict some more Buster debuffs here, and then go for an SP2, and then it's going to come close to killing. I don't think it actually does, but almost does. Leaves him at 3%, and then we go for the Relic, and then one hit after will kill him, or just the Relic hit actually, so that was cool. Next up, we're fighting a Sauron, rank 1 Sauron, so we are punching down, but we still have class disadvantage, so there is that. Elsa's pretty fun for Sauron for literally no reason. It's just the fact that she's good, so we don't have to worry about too much. We just need to be aware of his unblockable and then Dex his special attacks, and then we're kind of chilling. Elsa's counter evade is really nice, where we can get around not having to parry with Stun Reflect up, even though we would remove it anyway with the Incinerate. We can use the counter evade to get an opening without a stun, which is cool. I do like characters with counter evade. As you know, I'm a big fan of Mr. Negative, and I do really like Kate's counter evade and stuff, so that's one of my favorite things about Kate Bishop is her counter evade, and it's largely the same thing for Elsa. It's just really nice to have to get openings. So we're throwing the SP2, we get some nice crits, and then we're going to go back in, and then we're going to kill him in just a second, just like that. So that is a Sauron down in 61 seconds, and we're going to be moving to Alliance War now against this Void on node 13, and this is just completely cheesy for her. This node has steady build up Fury, meaning that the more debuffs I have, the defender is going to be gaining Furies, but also if I purify a debuff myself, I get a Fury, and Elsa purifies a lot, especially when we're getting weakness on ourselves with long distance relationship, and just because of the fact we're fighting Void. So we got a bunch of Furies, and that Void is dead in 19 seconds. I believe that's a 19-second war fight. So that's cool. Next up, we're fighting Photon on node 49. We saw how Elsa handled Stun Reflect earlier. Well, here it is again, but in War. And this is a rank 3 Photon. And we really don't want to stun her, even though we can, because it's Photon. We don't want to really trigger Untouchable. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. I do need to play it perfectly. I need to manage her Pure Light form perfectly, obviously, just because I can't nuke her like I can in Battlegrounds, because this Photon has 500k HP, so it definitely doesn't go down that fast. But we're going to take our time, we're going to play this fight slow and steady, and it's going to be a really nice fight. She's already down to 62, her first Pure Light form is almost gone. I could have gone for a counter evade there. I don't know why I'm not reparrying, but I definitely could have. And so that's the first Pure Light form gone. I handled it pretty nicely, and she throws her SP1 there. We're in my corner, but it's not too bad. We throw the SP2. We only used 1 round though, so maybe I should have waited before throwing that SP2, but either way, it's not a big deal. Gonna go for a double medium here, place the Incinerate, start triggering Polka Dot Power again, and I need her to throw her special 1. She throws it. We're gonna go for another special 1 of our own, and we don't really get any crits until the end, and she's at 8% now, and I'm like, okay, this Photon is dead, just like that. So really, really nice war fight there, if I do say so myself. And I believe I have one more war fight against this rank 3 Overseer on node 26. Overseer doesn't really benefit from the nodes here, however, he is a very big Overseer, and I felt it was worth showing. And yeah, it's pretty fun. We obviously will be purifying the special concussions he places on me to gain a precision from that, which is really helpful. And I did make a weird mistake in this fight where I thought his auto block would work a bit differently than it did. I'll call it out when it actually happens, but activated combat regen boost just to gain a little health, and we knock him down with my heavy. I'm going to go for the counter evade here, and I thought there was a big enough delay between the counter evade and my medium to where he wouldn't parry me, but I was mistaken, so a bit of a stupid mistake on my part. I also should have probably thrown an SP1 This was early in the war season, and it had been a while since I played Elsa before going into this war, so I was a little rusty on how her rotations went for these kind of fights. But yeah, in hindsight, I should have definitely thrown an SP1. Would have made it a bit easier and taken a bit less time. Obviously, this is war, and Elsa's worst enemy is unfazed, so there is a risk that unfazed will exist. But luckily, you don't need to use the counter evade for her kit to flow right. It's not like Mr. Negative, where it's like, okay, I have to use this counter evade, or else I'm just not going to have a good flow. You could avoid parrying with Elsa, and then, you know, you'd still be okay. It's not like your rotation is messed up. Definitely a bit inconvenient, but also, you know, not everyone runs unfazed, so there is that. This is going to be Winter of Woe, or not Winter of Woe, I'm sorry, Eternity of Pain Hercules. This fight takes a little while, but there were some cool things that I thought were worth mentioning this fight. Firstly, it's the fact that if you counter evade someone's dash attack, it counts as an intercept, which is a very fun mechanic. I really like it. So when I evade my opponent's dash attack, I am going to be gaining the Fury from Foresight, which is very cool. So that definitely helps me in this fight. Also, Herc's Infuriate just sucks. It's one of the most annoying non-damaging debuffs in the entire game. And Elsa just kind of removes it after 3 seconds. You don't have to do anything, she just kind of does it, which is really cool. So you see I have the Infuriate on me, and then it's going to go away just like that. It took me it took longer to get rid of it. It might have been an ability accuracy reduction thing, I'm not really sure. I don't know why. It usually takes like 3 seconds to auto-purify, so that was a little weird. You see there, that was definitely 3 seconds that lasted, so I get the counter evade, and we're going to be not throwing an SP2 yet, because I wanted to wait for his indestructible to go away, but here we throw an SP2 with the Fury, and we got some really nice red numbers. Those incinerates are taking for a lot, taking hits because I'm bad, but we purified another Infuriate, and we're going back in. We have all of our rounds basically, just missing 2 of our buster ones. Gonna be power gaining a little bit from recharge, and I'm gonna go for a knockdown right here. I'm gonna try to line up another SP2. I remember the end of this fight just feeling like it takes forever. I should have just went for an SP2 instead of gaining that precision. Then again, I'm not sure. Maybe I did need that precision, but I don't know. Either way, we're going to purify that Infuriate in just a second. Or not. I guess the ability accuracy reduction kind of was just like, no, you're not going to do that. But I feel like that shouldn't work with ability accuracy reduction. Maybe I'm losing it. I don't know. That's kind of weird how that would be subject to ability accuracy, because it just seems like a passive effect. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Just makes it a little more annoying. So Infuriate gone just like that. So we're going to be trying to line up an SP2. I need him to play aggressive, but he doesn't feel like it. He finally does, and he throws his SP1. I need to bait another one of his, and then we're going to be trying to go for an intercept in just a second. Hopefully counter evade his dash, but of course the indestructible is coming back, so we throw that into the indestructible, and then we just place like 1 incinerate, because ability accuracy reduction, my favorite thing. So yeah, this fight's gonna take forever to finish, but yeah, so I pointed out a few cool things that she does. Few cool things in her utility kit, being the counter evade counting as an intercept, being the auto purify, stuff like that. But I did show that she is definitely weak to ability accuracy reduction, which is what's making this fight suck so much. Also recharge kind of made this fight suck a lot, but not too big a deal. So almost dead because of brute force, but luckily we're not, so gonna kill him in just a moment. Triggered his immortality, gonna slow combo into my SP1, and then he's gonna die just after that. So that is Eternity of Pain Hercules. Definitely not very fast, but definitely worked, was relatively effective, so that was cool. And then last up, I'm going to be taking him on a path in Act 7, 8, no, it's 8, yeah. And this is a path that has Incinerate vulnerability, so you have a bunch of increased numbers and stuff, but also this node has Light 'em Up and an ability and an auto block node. So on this node, they have a chance to auto block me, but with Light 'em Up, if I have an Incinerate active, then they can't auto block me. So that's cool. Elsa obviously has really easy access to Incinerates, and with Incinerate vulnerability, just the numbers are kind of crazy. I could have made a bunch of fights in this video where I just take Elsa on a bunch of paths where her numbers go crazy, but I really do prefer showing you realistic places you might use a champ rather than just champion has 100% extra attack on this path. So that's why I kind of saved this for the end, because I legitimately just don't like showing these kind of paths where my numbers are going insane. Unless it's for fun, or unless I just need to fill time. Well, I mean, it's usually always for fun, but I just don't like to do it too often. But I made an exception for this path, because it does showcase a little bit for utility on nodes like Light 'em Up, because of that easy access to Incinerate, and how that is really important for some nodes to have easy access to Incinerate. So yeah, the numbers are definitely crazy in this fight, but I don't want to focus on them too much, just because it's unrealistic. So yeah, that's why this stuff is at the end of the video, and this is going to be the last path I show for the video, so I might as well start wrapping it up. But Elsa, love the champion. I believe she was like my 5th ever maxed out 6-star, I mean 7-star. What do you mean maxed out, dude? It's so late, I'm actually losing my mind. I feel like I misused my words like way too many times in recording this, so I apologize for that. Rank 2 7-star is what I meant to say, like my 5th one. I'll put it in the thumbnail if it's not my 5th one. I genuinely don't remember, but I will find out before I make the thumbnail, so. Anyway, one more fight on this path against this Hyperion. He gave me some pretty decent AI, so it was pretty easy. But Elsa, I hear a lot of people hating on Elsa, and I guess I get it, because she doesn't have like crazy utility, but she does have some niche utility, and her damage is just flat out good. Like, you can't tell me her damage is bad, because it actually is really nice. So yeah, I hope this video definitely sold some of you guys on Elsa. She's a really good champion, a champion I've been making videos on for a while, but never got a proper showcase, so that's why this video exists. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching the video. I'm going to wrap it up right here, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.